At an engineering center run by Xiaomi in China, a team tackled a problem the appliance industry had never really attacked head-on. How do you put real steam, not just hot air, inside the same basket as an electric fryer without making the machine bigger or harder to use? The result was a hybrid oven, already rolling out globally, that fries, steams at 130 degrees Celsius, and even claims to do sous vide, all in the same space where, today, there's only room for dry, hot air. If this catches on at scale, the machine humming on your counter right now, the one that dries out chicken from the inside, can't steam, can't do sous vide, and hogs its own outlet while your steamer and your low-temperature cooker sit unused in the cupboard, could end up as obsolete as the plain electric oven became once the air fryer itself hit the market just over 10 years ago. Stay to the end, because you're about to find out exactly how one single appliance manages to mix hot air and steam at the same time without one ruining the other, and why this could be one of the quietest shifts in the kitchen in the last decade, happening right under your nose with almost no fanfare.
Think about your kitchen for a second. How many electric appliances do you own, just to cook in different ways? An air fryer for oil-free frying, a steamer for vegetables, maybe a sous vide cooker if you're the type who likes meat cooked to the exact right temperature, and of course, the oven for anything that needs steady, dry heat, like bread and cake. This isn't you exaggerating. It's a real market pattern. In China alone, in 2025, more than 18 million air fryers were sold on the JD.com platform alone, and the category keeps growing at roughly 35% a year, according to a survey by the specialized site China Product Reviews. The electric fryer stopped being a niche gadget. It became a standard kitchen item, the same way the microwave did back in the 90s. The problem is, each of these machines does one thing very well, and everything else poorly or not at all. Here's what nobody stops to think about. This practical solution of having one appliance per function quietly created a problem of its own: counter space. Energy spread across several inefficient devices, and cleaning, because every appliance has its own basket, its own rack, its own way of being washed. And there's a technical detail most people ignore. A regular air fryer only does one thing well: circulate hot air. It's great for crispy fries, but it's terrible at keeping food moist on the inside. Baked chicken, for example, comes out dry if you try cooking it with hot air alone. In other words, the very design of the traditional air fryer has a physical limit. Hot air dries things out, period. This isn't new for the industry. Manufacturers had already tried mixing functions before, the so-called air fryer plus toaster oven combos, for example. But in practice, most of those combos just stacked functions on top of each other without fixing the underlying problem. They still used only dry, hot air. They changed the shape, not the physics. The real bottleneck was never the appliance's design. It was the absence of a second cooking variable inside the same space: controlled humidity. And that's exactly where Xiaomi, the Chinese tech giant, asked a different question. What if, instead of just circulating dry, hot air, it were possible to inject controlled steam inside the same basket, in the same appliance, either at the same time or in alternating modes? That question is what led to the Mijia Smart Steam Air Fryer 7-liter, announced by Xiaomi and reported globally in April 2026.
Think of it this way. A regular air fryer is basically a hairdryer pointed at your food, just hot air non-stop. What Xiaomi did was add, inside the same appliance, something like a built-in humidifier, a 1.5-liter water tank that generates steam up to 130 degrees Celsius, working alongside the hot air system that already existed. In practice, that adds up to two modes that complement each other. First, pure steam mode, for vegetables, for example. According to Xiaomi itself, steaming 500 grams of broccoli takes 8 minutes in this appliance, compared to 12 minutes in a traditional electric steamer. That's 30% faster. Second, the hybrid mode, hot air and steam at the same time. The idea is simple to grasp. The steam keeps moisture inside the food, while the hot air, circulating a full 360 degrees, crisps up the outside. In other words, it directly attacks the physical limit the regular air fryer had.
And there's a third, more surprising use. Xiaomi claims the appliance can also do sous vide. that low, tightly controlled temperature cooking technique traditionally done with a precision water bath. According to Notebook Check, the exact mechanism hasn't been publicly detailed by the company yet, but the site speculates the effect is achieved by combining the water tank with the appliance's fine temperature control. Overall, the oven has a temperature range of 40 degrees Celsius to 230 degrees Celsius for hot air mode and comes with 10 cooking modes: steaming, fermenting, dehydrating, defrosting, reheating, and more. But the most interesting part isn't just the engineering inside the basket, it's what happens outside of it. The appliance has an LCD display with 25 one-touch preset recipes, so you don't have to guess the time and temperature for every dish. And it connects to Xiaomi's app through HyperOS Connect, meaning you can control the oven remotely from your phone, and it's also compatible with Google Home, so you can use voice commands too. But here's the part that really pushes this product from just another air fryer into a whole new category. Xiaomi had already released a similar 6.5-liter model earlier, sold only in the Chinese market. This new one, at 7 liters with sous vide, is the version the company decided to bring to the entire world, Europe and other markets outside China. That's the real signal behind the news. This isn't just a product, it's an entire category of hybrid appliances, combining frying, steaming, low-temperature cooking, and app-based automation, trying to become a global kitchen standard, the same way the air fryer did over the last decade. There's even a detail aimed at people who care about coating safety. According to testing reported by Xiaomi itself, carried out by the certification company SGS, the basket's non-stick coating contains no PFAS, that group of chemicals that's been linked to health risks in recent studies, and that's faced restrictions in several countries. The report has a public registration number, NGBEC 2500-560-3101. Before we keep going, tell me in the comments, would you swap your air fryer for a hybrid appliance like this, even without knowing the final price yet? Or would you rather keep one appliance per function? Drop your opinion below. Hit like so this video keeps reaching more people, and subscribe to the channel, because this isn't the last piece of Chinese kitchen tech we're going to dig into here. Now, before you go looking for where to buy one, a few important points. First, as of the reporting behind this video, Xiaomi hadn't confirmed a price or a launch date for most markets outside China. The announcement was for global availability, but that doesn't mean immediate arrival everywhere. Second, even the outlets that covered the launch are clear about this. This appliance doesn't replace the stove for every type of recipe. It expands what a single appliance can do, but at its core, it's still a countertop oven. Structured cakes, long fermentation bread, recipes that depend on a traditional oven with pure convection heat, those still hit limits in an appliance this size. Third, the sous vide function specifically still hasn't had its exact technical mechanism publicly detailed by Xiaomi. That doesn't mean it doesn't work, but without that detail, it's worth treating that particular feature with some caution until independent tests and real-world reviews exist, not just the brand's own official material. And finally, this is a recent launch. A new product, no matter how impressive its specs look on paper, only proves its real value after months of actual use, in real kitchens, not just in a press release. But you can look at this from a bigger angle. The air fryer didn't become popular because it was brilliant. It became popular because it solved a real annoyance, eating fried food with less guilt, faster, without making a mess of the whole kitchen. This new type of hybrid appliance is trying to solve the next annoyance. Why do I need 4 different machines to cook in 4 different ways if the physics behind each of them could, in theory, coexist inside the same space? If this really takes off, and it's still an if, we might be looking at the start of a new generation of appliances where air fryer, oven, and steamer stop being separate categories and simply become one word: smart cooking. And that leaves you with a question. In your day-to-day life, what matters more when picking a new appliance? One machine that does a bit of everything, or several machines that each do one thing really well? Leave your answer in the comments, hit like, and subscribe to the channel to keep following where this new generation of smart kitchen tech is headed.